Hey everyone, I'm in Richmond, Indiana. It's the county seat in Wayne County, which borders Ohio. And I want to show you how to get the most out of a day in this eastern Indiana city of 35,000. Dayton, Ohio is the closest airport to Richmond, Indiana. But I flew into Indianapolis because there are multiple direct flights every day between LaGuardia and Indianapolis. With a car, it's around an hour and 20 minutes from Indianapolis International Airport to Richmond. Now, Richmond could be quiet on Sundays, but fortunately, I found a place that does brunch from 9 to 2, the Cordial Cork. It's a wine bar. So the first thing that stands out is this map where you can pin where you're from. I'm sure they've had so many New Yorkers here that I can't even fit a pin. But if you check this out, the whole wall is pretty much lined with wine bottles. And then right here, this is an 1897 Star piano that was made in what is now the Star Historic District. And then along the wall, these are records made by a local record company. I'm starting with the Everything Bagel, and I also got a chicken breast. And just look behind me, those are records pressed by Jeanette Records. There's a Jeanette Walk of Fame in town. That's the piano on the other side, so I chose to sit here for this reason. So a couple reasons why I ordered the bagel. Number one, I love salmon. Number two, I wanted to try the dill chive cream sauce, which you can see right there. And I mean, you can really taste the dill. The building behind me used to be the Star Piano Factory, so Star Pianos, as in the Star Historic District, those used to be made there. But I'm here to check out the Jeanette Records Walk of Fame. So this little path has plaques representing different recording artists and people important to the record label. Now, I don't recognize a lot of the names here, but this one here, I do recognize Duke Ellington from the jazz class I took about 22 years ago at Penn State University. Unfortunately, there are no remnants of the recording studio, but this marker that you see right over here shows you where the recording studio was from 1920 to 1934. Bix Beiderbecke, Gene Autry, Duke Ellington, and many others recorded here in Indiana. So I'm at the Reed Center. And what makes this unique is that this former church is one of the only ones in the United States with all Tiffany windows. It started in 1904, was dedicated in 1906. So this former church is now a performing arts center. And if you're familiar with the Gospels, you have Mark, Luke, John, and Matthew with Jesus in the middle. Now I'm in Glenn Miller Park. So the Glenn Miller is not a reference to the big band leader. That was Glenn with two N's. This is home plate right here. And the reason home plate is here because there was a Negro League team called the Richmond Giants, and the baseball stadium was right across the street. About a mile north from the Jeanette Walk of Fame is Thistlewake Falls. So this is within the city limits of Richmond, but it's just a nice, serene place to come and relax. You could do some hiking here without worrying about what kind of physical condition you're in. I'm having lunch at Roscoe's Coffee Bar and Tap Room. So I'm in the coffee room. There's a mini arcade behind me. That's Pac-Man. And then I'm having a noisette. Right here is my coffee drink. And from the menu, I was going back and forth between the acai bowl and the tacos. I ended up going with the tacos to try the cilantro lime sauce, and also these have all ingredients I like. No onion, which I always omit when I order tacos. So I like it. The cilantro lime sauce, it's not overwhelming. Something else that surprised me is these are slightly toasted, not to the point that they're going to break apart, but just so they're nice and warm, which I definitely prefer. And they gave me a few sauces to try. I'm definitely going to try the guacamole one. You can also see some old movie posters here. Here's a coffee guide, so you could order like 20 different espresso drinks if you'd like. Large menu up here. These hanging lights. More movie posters and a big TV screen in the corner. Richmond has a Black History Trail, and I'm standing outside the first Bethel AME church in the state of Indiana. So back in the 1800s, this was known as Little Africa, as it was a main gathering point for the Black community here in Richmond. It's still an active church today, and it's one of more than a dozen different stops on the Black History Trail in Richmond. Old Richmond is the oldest neighborhood in the city. I just spotted those M&M characters. The architecture stands out a little bit more in this area. Richmond is the county seat in Wayne County, Indiana, and there are more than 80 murals in the county. I think my favorite one is the one right behind me, so that's Eric Clapton, and I know he's not from Indiana, but I think it's pretty cool anyway. And this is another interesting one, referencing the Underground Railroad. So you could see it went from Kentucky, which was a slave state, into Ohio, Indiana, and eventually up to Canada. About a 10-minute drive north of Richmond is Fountain City, which used to be known as Newport. One of the main historical attractions here is the home of Levi and Catherine Coffin. So Levi and Catherine helped free around 2,000 escaped persons during the time of slavery. Around 100 every year they were here. This house was built in 1839. It's now 185 years old. None of the artifacts in here are original, as they went to Cincinnati when the family moved, but the floor is original. Now, I visited some Underground Railroad attractions in my home state of Pennsylvania. They both have hiding places. The hiding place here is behind these beds. This little thing, growing up, I called it a cubby hole, was where the escaped people hid. They usually spent about a day here before heading north. Now, fortunately, there wasn't much hiding going on. For the day or two that the escaped people from neighboring slave states were here, they were allowed full use of the house, including this kitchen table, which is right behind me. In the 1800s, there were no freezers, so the sawdust behind me helped keep the ice cold, and the saw right here was used to saw the ice, and Fountain City got its name because of the high water level. You could see the well water right down here, and in the 1800s, clean water was really a luxury. For me, two of the most interesting artifacts in here was this bedlock and then this smoothener, which you just rub across the bed, and the bedlock is meant to tighten these ropes that you see right here. This is an outdoor gathering spot at Indiana University East, and these sculptures that you see behind me, they change every 4 years. This one stands out the most to me. This is Hole in My Heart, like the Extreme song by a Missouri artist from Cape Girardeau. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. For dinner, I'm trying a Punjabi Indian restaurant, and it's called Gulzar's. I'm trying the mixed grill, which has tandoori chicken, tandoori shrimp, chicken tikka, and also lamb kebabs. Now, I've tried all 4 things, and I'm gonna say that the tandoori shrimp and the chicken tikka were my 2 favorite out of the 4 things that came with the mixed grill. So I'm happy with that. It's a good way to end my trip to Richmond, Indiana. If I come back here, or if I visit the Dayton location, I'm definitely going to try the korma. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe. I got more trips coming up soon. I'm going to New Haven, Connecticut soon. Also going out to Reno, Nevada, going to Phoenix in May, and I look forward to sharing more videos with you soon.